Come with us on an unforgettable journey into the wild heart of India, beginning in the misty hills of Periyar, where we witness a living tradition of one of the world's oldest martial arts before trekking deep into the jungle, where every sound and shadow might belong to the elusive Bengal tiger.
Gliding across the waters of the Periyar Tiger Reserve, we soak in the serenity of India's untouched wilderness, viewing birds, deer, and even the gentle giants, Asian elephants. After tasting flavors unique to this region, our adventure carries us into Tamil Nadu, where Madurai awaits us with its royal palace, Gandhi Museum, and the awe-inspiring Meenakshi Temple, one of South India's greatest treasures. Join us on this epic South Indian adventure.
We continue from our last India chapter, venturing throughout the lush tropical state of Kerala.
Okay, so we've driven 5 hours into Periyar from Kochi, and it's been a beautiful drive. I tell you what, we're going through spice plantations and beautiful tea plantations, and we're actually in a spice plantation right now called Green Park. And there's all different types of spices here, and it's all mixed within natural forest. One of the spices we've got here is actually the third most expensive spice in the world after saffron and vanilla. And that, of course, is cardamom. And cardamom is natural to this area. Cardamom is ideal for this climate and altitude as well. So they grow cardamom here really well. In fact, they call this area the Cardamom Hills. They harvest this, I believe, in August, he said. So they have to pick out the pods one by one. This one here is another common one. This is the clove tree. So this is where they get cloves from, and they produce clove oil from the tree, which can be used in a lot of different antiseptic and antibacterial methods, including with toothaches, toothpaste as well. We actually bought an Ayurvedic toothpaste that contains clove oil, and really, really good stuff, clove oil. So we just looked at the difference between true cinnamon and cassia. Cassia is mass-produced in China. It contains chemicals that are blood-thinning, similar to warfarin, which is really not recommended at high dosages, whereas the true cinnamon doesn't contain that, and it has a whole bunch of anti-inflammatory properties, and it's really, really good for your immune system, stress, things like that. About 90% of cinnamon that's sold in the world is actually the cassia cinnamon. Looks like this. You can see that it's not flaky like the true cinnamon. The good way to check if you're buying powdered cinnamon, for example, is have a look and see if it's cinnamon verum, which is the real one, or cinnamon cassia, which is your fake one right there. And also the bay leaves, the Indian bay leaves, come from the cinnamon tree as well. Okay, so this plant here, you can see it's a plant because it's creeping up the side of this tree, is actually what is synonymous with Kerala, and that is pepper. This is where it naturally comes from. This is the only part of the world that it is natural and native to. And at one point in history, pepper was more valuable than gold, and that's really what kicked off the spice trade. In fact, pepper only can be harvested during the monsoon, which is why it was never transported to other parts of the world. They always had to keep coming back to get the pepper, and all 4 different kinds of pepper are grown from this one tree here. So the green, which is in its natural state, when it matures, it goes black. If it over matures, it goes red, and they can wash that off. And after a few weeks of washing it off in the river, it becomes the white pepper. All have different qualities and all have different tastes and flavors. We're going to go out now and check out some of the local martial arts, which apparently is the oldest or one of the oldest styles of martial arts in the world. It pretty much evolved all the martial arts like the Kung Fu in China and the Karate in Japan. It all came from here. We're going to see a live performance there, and then we'll go out for dinner. Tomorrow, we're going to do a walk in the Periyar National Park and hopefully see one of these tigers. Very unlikely that we're going to see a tiger, but we are going to go for a walk and then a boat ride and some traditional Ayurvedic massage. So it looks like we've got a pretty chocked up itinerary here in Periyar.
Kadathanadan Kalari is thought to be more than 3,000 years old, an art that may well be among the first martial traditions in human history. It was born in northern Kerala, in the legendary warrior land of Kadathanad, where generations once trained in the sacred grounds of Kalari, or the battle arena.
What began as battlefield training, blending strikes, grapples, acrobatics, and weapons, including swords, shields, staffs, and flexible blades, grew into something much deeper. Kalari fused combat with culture, shaped by ancient Dravidian customs, temple rituals, and the healing science of Ayurveda, where the same hands that struck in battle could also heal through Mama therapy.
After the martial arts and weapon performances, volunteers were asked from the audience, including some from our group, to help out with some stunts. Leading up to the highlight of the evening event, the fire show.
When the flames entered the arena, the performance reached another level. Fire twirled with weapons, leapt from the ground, and framed breathtaking acrobatics. This dramatic element likely began as a way for warriors to prove their courage and command, and today it sets hearts racing as ancient discipline transforms into a dazzling cultural spectacle.
What do you think, babe?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was a really cool show.
What about the fire?
Oh, that's my favorite part.
It was so crazy.
So crazy.
And the fight song.
And the fight sound. Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Get ready to fight.
That's Miranda's new hype
My
up
new
song.
hype up song.
We've entered into the Periyar Tiger Reserve, which is an area of 925 square kilometres. There's only approximately 35 tigers in the reserve, so it's very unlikely that we'll see one. But I was just talking to Sajeev here, one of our guides, and he was saying that there are over 1,000 elephants here in the park. And they don't know how many leopards there are, but there's quite a few as well, so you never know. One thing we're told is not to wear red because that actually sets off the elephants. Little did I realise that my backpack is bright red. So Miranda says if an elephant comes, she's going to run and I'll be the bait. We'll see.
I said I'll shield you because I'm wearing dark colours so you can't see the red.
You're also wearing these really funky gaiters too, Miranda. Why don't you tell us about the gaiters?
To prevent the leeches.
Leeches.
This park is full of leeches.
Yeah, so there's a lot of leeches here. So we've got these gaiters tucked into our shoes.
And it's muddy, so.
Yeah, it'll kill two birds with one stone. We're on a 5-kilometre walk this morning. Another type of wood used for furniture is teak wood right there, and the local name is Thekkady, which is the name of the town. So it's named after the type of wood there. Been very lucky this morning. We've just entered the park. It's very rare to see the eagles. We saw a serpent eagle up there. The serpent eagle is named because it's one of their favourite foods. We also saw some wild boar and now bison, which is known as the Indian wild boar. Is that right?
Yeah, Indian wild boar.
Yeah, Indian wild boar. That's so cool. Tree, we've got a family of black langur monkeys. They're jumping around making a lot of noise. You can hear them and see them up there. And then behind me here we have a banyan tree, or a Bodhi tree, which is over 200 years old. campsite behind us here, and not only are they looking out for poachers, which unfortunately have been taking the black monkeys for local medicines, but the other thing that they're poaching is actually this. This is sandalwood, which is a very expensive wood, about 1,000 rupees for a kilo. So it's about $10 per kilo. On this tree here, we can actually see the marks of some leopards and tigers as well. Look at that. Those tigers can get up to 8 meters in length. They're absolutely massive, and they're very territorial, which is why they mark the trees. One tiger, typically 25 square kilometers. So kind of wouldn't want to come across one of those in the wild, although the guy said here they got plenty of food, so they're generally not stalking and hunting people, which is reassuring to us. Of elephants right here, so they could be in the area. We just saw a Malabar giant squirrel as well. This is very cool.
So this is why they told us to wear the gaiters.
So Jeev is going to pick this off with his teeth. Ready? Jackie, go for it. Take him off. It's making me feel squeamish. Get him off. Jesus. We just saw a very rare bird called the Malabar drone, so that was kind of cool. I forgot to mention we also saw a fox earlier, but it was so quick it just took off, so no shots unfortunately. This has been really cool so far, and we're still following the footsteps of the elephants, so fingers crossed we might see some elephants. So we saw up there a group of hill miners and a couple of starlings and also a white-cheeked barbet, which is pretty cool. What did we just see, Miranda?
2 oriental scop owls. Apparently, they're pretty rare.
They're very rare, yeah. That's pretty cool.
And I saw 2 big Malabar giant squirrels.
But you didn't capture them, man.
I didn't. I have to steal your photo.
Does it still count?
Yes, it still counts. I saw them with my eyes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get the 2. I only got the single one before, but we'll see. We've still got a while to go. said to Miranda, elephant, elephant, and she got out a camera for this.
stupid.
What did you think about the walk, Miranda? Did you like it?
Oh, that was incredible. To be honest, this was something I was really looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. We saw tons of cool stuff.
Yeah, Sajeev, our ranger, actually said that we had a really lucky day. Whoa, God. Some of the days he goes out there and sees nothing. We're on a bus now to go do the boat ride. It's a really bumpy bus. And we chose the back. Now we know why everyone's sitting down the front. Oh well.
Catch some air sometimes.
Oh God. What are we going to see? We're going to see one of those.
We're going to see a tiger, a leopard.
This is the fox that we saw earlier, one of those.
Yeah.
There you go, I don't have to film it now.
Are you sure that's a fox, or is that the wild dog that they were talking about?
Maybe, I saw something like that running.
I assumed it was a fox. Could be wrong.
High in the Western Ghats lies Periyar Tiger Reserve. First created as a sanctuary in 1934 and later declared a tiger reserve in 1978, now spanning 925 square kilometers. At its center stretches Periyar Lake, a man-made jewel of 26 square kilometers, born from the Mala Periyar Dam more than a century ago. Within its lush expanse roam around 35 tigers, over 1,000 elephants, and countless others, gore, wild boar, langurs, giant squirrels, deer, and more than 300 species of birds.
Then came a moment we'll never forget, spotting our first wild Indian elephants. Watching them move, interact, and simply exist in their own world was awe-inspiring. They were so majestic we could have stayed there forever, silently observing.
Eventually, our focus turned to something more down to earth: lunch. We tried a local delicacy we'd never even heard of before: biryani cooked inside bamboo. The fragrance, the flavor, the experience, it was unlike any biryani we had ever tasted.
What do you think, Chicky? Pretty cool? Yeah. Looks delicious, right? Traditional bamboo biryani. How was the boat ride, by the way? Did you like the boat ride?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Saw elephants, bison, deer,
Oh dear.
birds.
Birds. You can wear it on your head, Janice. Steamed.
Is it toddy or is it?
So we're going to drink a local drink called toddy. It comes from a fermented flour that ferments in the coconut tree.
Cheers. Alright, toddy's up.
So my review of the toddy, it starts off with almost like a cider kind of tang and finishes up with a coconut taste. I don't mind it. Has kind of like a bitter touch to it, which is a little strange. The funny thing about this is the longer you leave it in the bottle, it ferments on its own and it actually gets stronger. So we're going to finish it all up tonight. Tony's going to drink it all. We just did a little research and I thought I might summarize it really quickly because it's quite confusing and complicated, but it comes from either a coconut or a date palm. And what they do is they actually tap the palm itself in the trunk, and the sap that comes out, they collect in a bowl. And because of the humidity and the warm climate here, it actually has this natural yeast that gets added to it like automatically, and it begins to ferment within a few hours. So you get kind of like a reasonable, they said about 5% alcohol within a few hours, and if you leave it for longer, it actually continues to ferment on its own. So it's supposed to be drunk fresh. In the southern states of India, this is quite a popular alcoholic drink. The next morning we bid farewell to Kerala and crossed into Tamil Nadu. Banana plantations lined the highway as we made our way to Madurai, a city where we would spend 2 days immersed in history and culture.
So we're in the city of Madurai, or Madurai in the local Tamil language, and our first stop is the Thirumalai Nayak Palace, which we're about to enter in here. Built in 1636. We're going to go check out the palace really, really quickly because it's starting to rain now. Cover here. So it's famous for this celestial hall that we're in right now, which was the King's Audience Hall, and it's done in Rajput and Dravidian architectural styles. It was originally 4 times larger than it currently is, so it is much smaller in size, but nonetheless it is pretty amazing. We're at the Gandhi Museum here in Madurai. It's one of the best museums dedicated to the life of Mahatma Gandhi in all of India. Inside they have some of the personal artifacts of the revolutionary leader during the time of the independence of India. He led his non-violent revolution against the British. So in there it also contains the bloodstained cloth that he was wearing when he was assassinated, and also there is a little area in there that talks a little bit about British colonialism here in India. So I'm going to go inside and check it out. Well, that was actually really disappointing because the main museum's under construction at the moment. They just have some photocopies in there of a few of the things and yeah, just copies of the artifacts, I guess, which is really a shame because this is one of the top things I wanted to do here. So I guess we'll have to miss out on that. So they do have a little replica here of the adobe houses that they built in the Gandhijira village, a little village that Gandhi created with a lot of his followers in the state of Maharashtra. So this is kind of how Gandhi lived for a lot of his life during the times of the revolution. I guess this is the coolest part of the museum. The main part of the museum is closed. Of course, the toilet. There you go. Cool. Aside from the commune-style adobe villa, they also have some of Gandhi's ashes here as well in a small memorial. So the main thing I wanted to check out was the bloodstained cloth, and the reason why that's so relevant to Madurai and the state of Tamil Nadu is because the clothes that he wore, the poorer people's clothes, the cloth that he wore, was very, very symbolic, and it all came from this area right here. So that's part of the reason why the museum was established in the first place. Hopefully by the time anyone does get to come out here, anyone watching this that is, then hopefully it's restored and you get to see some of that and some other interesting personal artifacts. We're just down at the flower markets here in Madurai. A lot of these flowers are actually being prepared for offerings in the temples, so we're going to check out some of the temples tomorrow. So we're at the banana market, so we've got ourselves a red banana here. Very nice. Creamy and sweet. We've tried about 4 different kinds of bananas so far. Interesting driving down here from the Western Ghats as well. You could see banana plantations as far as the eye could see, so I guess this is where they deal them, right? Dealing bananas. Is that what you do? Deal them? Sell them. Sweet ones there. Like the little sweet.
Really good too.
Yeah.
But I like the really tiny ones.
So we got a few of those. This is one that we tried in Jaisalmer. This is the kulfi, which are the ice creams with saffron in it. And Miranda's got this. It's good? Really good?
Very good. Very creamy.
Yum, yum, yum. It's like 35 degrees right now too. It's like 100% humidity, so it's kind of nice to get an ice cream. Day 2 here in Madurai, and we're about to go and visit its most famous site, which is the Meenakshi Temple. Originally built around the 6th century, although most of the structures and gates that we see around here were formed in the 16th century, but it's very famous for its giant towers, the 4 separate gates that surround the actual site itself, raising up to about 52 meters or 170 feet high. Intricately carved, very, very beautiful. Unfortunately, we can't film inside the site because it's a religious and holy site to the Hindu people, so I'm going to have to give a little information afterwards and maybe I can overdub some things, but it's already pretty spectacular looking at these gates here. Miranda, what do you think of the Meenakshi Temple?
It was so impressive. The statues and everything are so intricate.
And throughout really the whole complex, it's like that too. It took us about an hour just to walk around the complex, and that's without visiting the inner sanctum. You do actually have to be a Hindu to visit the inner sanctum, and the line there was in excess of 3 hours. In fact, one person in our group is Hindu and she's still lining up in there. She's going to be in there for quite some time. But it was really interesting. The history goes back before the temple was built here. This has been a sacred site for thousands of years. In fact, one of the interesting things the guide was saying is that these are some of the oldest civilizations in the world, this area here, continuous civilization for about 4,000 or 5,000 years just in this specific spot. But the DNA and genealogy of the people down here in the south, it goes back to some of the first migrations out of Africa 70,000 years ago. So it's a very old place, but it's also a very, very sacred place for the Hindu people. The other thing I found really interesting is that Tamil Nadu actually has some of the highest percentages of Hindu temples in all of India. And the reason being is a lot of the conquerors from the north never actually made it down this far, such as the Mughals. We spoke earlier in some of our videos in northern India about how the Mughals were defacing the statues in the Hindu temples and destroying the temples. So that never happened down here, and that's why there are so many. He said something like
48,000.
48,000 temples.
Crazy amount.
So we're gonna go get some lunch now, and then we'll later on. What are we doing? We're getting a
overnight train.
Overnight train. We're heading where to?
To Mysuru.
Mysore. Up there, we're gonna go check out a national park, and also as well see some beautiful palaces and things like that. So it's gonna be a good few days coming up. All right, we're at Sri Sabaras and we're doing a traditional meal here, like a thali. And they've given us the banana leaves here. We're gonna wash the banana leaves first. And then it's like hands on thali style. That's how we're gonna do it. We have Tony, the Maharaja here. Did I? Look at that. The tourist utensil. I'm gonna go hands in, you know. You're supposed to use your right hands, I believe. That's the one. This is it. Alright. There you go. So we've got another addition to our new house. This is our statue here of Ganesha. Knowledge. He brings knowledge and good luck, right?
Yes.
And he brings good luck. Yeah, he brings good luck. So he's always lucky to have Ganesha. Even when you get in the taxis here, they have it, and he's got an upright sitar, which is good because I'm a guitarist, so it ties in with that. But we think he's going to be a nice little addition to our new home. Miranda's excited.
Yay! Always excited for new additions to our
new member of our family.
With Madurai explored, it's time to move on once again. Our next adventure takes us north to Mysuru in Karnataka, home to India's most famous palace. And it's here, back in the jungle, that our patience and persistence are finally rewarded, and we see our very first wild tiger in Bandipur National Park.
Hey guys, just a quick message. We really hope you enjoyed this video.
If there's anyone you think would enjoy our videos, please share and help us grow global travel stories. We thank you for your support.